Arkansas had a game with so-and-so. I said, well, give them a ring, find out if they want to play. Tell them we'll come down here. And in the meantime, you know, I texted Mike and I said, hey, you guys interested in playing? He said, yeah, if the conference doesn't give us a game for that day, we'll play you for sure. So that's kind of how it worked out. There was never any talk of, you know, I don't need a game like UConn. You know, I got Georgia, I got South Carolina, I got all these other games coming up. You know, I don't want to throw UConn into the mix. You know, we talked a lot about it. Doesn't matter who you play this year. If you're not willing to play anybody, anywhere, anytime this year, then you know what? There's something wrong with you. Especially now.
Thanks, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Carl, you want to go ahead?
You know, can you give us an update on Paige and Anna, if there's any on Anna? And also, I was wondering when Sailor is practicing, if she did practice today. And finally, the 95 team had 2 guards too, with Kara, Rebecca, and Jamel. Those are 2 pretty good teams, 95 and 02, by the way.
Yeah, but Jamel Elliott swears that she was a guard on defense because she was so quick she could guard the other team's best players. So Carla Berube was a guard. Jamel was a guard. When you have Kara and Rebecca in the lane, there's not a whole lot of room for anybody else. Update on Paige. Feels better. She didn't practice today. She went a little bit yesterday and just some light shooting drills and stuff. She didn't practice today. And Anna's out. The word will be indefinitely. What's that mean? I don't know. It means indefinitely. It means I don't have a definite answer for you.
Do you have an answer for Sailor?
Sailor was cleared to practice, and she practiced for a little bit today, for the little bit that we did. And, you know, she had done a couple individuals prior to that with Shay. She picks things up pretty quickly. I don't know that she's game ready. I don't think she'll be game ready in 2 days. You know, this ain't.
How long do you think it'll take? Any idea?
Huh? What's that?
Any idea how long it might take? Is there some way you can, like, you know, to use a quarterback term, simplify the playbook for her? Or, you know, you just got to wait until whenever that time is, she's ready?
Don't know. I don't know. I don't know. At some point, I'll go in the gym and I'll go, hey, I think we should put her in. I don't know when that time is.
Thanks.
Alexa?
Hey, Geno.
Hey.
Kind of going off your answer to a previous question, with Arkansas being so tough to contain, is it just more important for you to basically just outscore them to win the game if there's really only so much you can do to contain them? And how important too is, you know, your defense's ability to try and contain Chelsea Dungy in particular, since she's just such a explosive player and can score in a lot of different ways?
Well, I would say that for us to just go in there and think that we can outscore anybody anytime, probably not good. You know, that's not who we are right now. Anyway, that's not who we are. I don't think if we go down to Arkansas and we let them score their average, that we're going to be able to win the game. So we still have to defend them somehow, and defend them well. And then we have to make a lot of shots. whatever that is, whatever that means, whatever shots they are. We have to shoot a real high percentage. But I think the two keys are for sure, we have to keep them off the free throw line. And if we can, then, we have a better chance. We have to limit how many opportunities they get from the 3-point line, which is easier said than done.
Roger, you want to go ahead?
What's the biggest area of growth for KRISTIN since she's come onto campus?
Well, I'm hoping that it's more being a little more well-rounded, a little more, understanding the game. These kids come out of high school, they know how to do one thing, score. At least they think they do. Then when they get to college and they find out they can't shoot like they did in high school, they can't score like they did in high school. So, hopefully, I like to think that she understands that impacting the game, every possession is the key to being a good basketball player. So I would like to think that's where she's made some progress, in being a better defender and having more of an impact.
Dan Conley?
Geno, KRISTIN's talked a lot this week about this Arkansas game being her homecoming game and how it's coming a year earlier than normal. But are you still expecting to go down to Little Rock to play that game next year for her homecoming, or is it too early to tell with the non-conference schedules?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I think a lot of we had a lot of games postponed this year that have to be, contractually have to be rescheduled somehow, some way, plus the ones that we had coming on that would start next year. So there's going to be a lot of charts coming out, filling it out, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. So for now, this is what we got. If we can go back down there next year, great. If for some reason we can't, it's not for lack of trying.
Vicky, you want to go ahead?
Hey, Geno, I assume that you went to Arkansas when you were recruiting KRISTIN. What was your impression of KRISTIN when you were recruiting her? What do you remember about her as a player when you were recruiting her? And what do you remember about going to Arkansas?
Well, flying into Little Rock and going to a high school, you don't really get much of a feel for anything. You land, you get a rental car, you drive to the game, you watch the game, go to the hotel, fly out. From the game, I remember the game was important. People valued the high school team's games. Her team was a good team. It had a great following. And she had a great following. And she could, like I just said earlier, she could impact the game. I think she was known mostly as a scorer back then, which is different than a shooter. So, when you have somebody that's a scorer, you want them to try to score, not just shoot. So I don't remember much about anything else other than that in particular. That's probably what I remember the most. That's it.
Maria, you want to go ahead?
Sure. Hey, Coach.
Sure.
I'm sure, like most of us, you've been reflecting on Kobe and Gianna Bryant. you with a unique perspective. And I was just wondering what has sort of been your overarching permeating thought that you've had personally when it comes to their lasting legacy.
I'm amazed that it's been a year already. I'm amazed that so much has transpired since last January. Doesn't seem like that long ago, does it? And yet, given all that's happened, it seems like forever ago. I was actually in my restaurant recently to go pick up something, and on the TV camera, on the TV, one of the TVs, they were showing some highlights. And, you know, I just kind of stood there and watched it for a few minutes. And it's almost like you needed a reminder, because so many things, you've been hit with so many things this past year. It was good to get reminded just the other day. It was really good. And being reminded brings a lot of melancholiness to the situation. It's still hard to grip, you know. Can't get a grip on it. Hard to fathom all the usual sayings. Not you know, all the noise that's happened this year. All the incredible Hall of Famers that have died this year. Death has been a big part of this year. But his death, that's a hard one to reconcile.
Donnie, you want to go ahead?
Coach, I apologize if you answered this already. I texted Jeff last week about the possibility of you guys playing Louisville. Is that still a possibility?
I don't know. Last time I looked at my schedule, there's some games on the schedule I'm trying to get rid of. We have like 9 games in like 8 days. That's what it feels like. All on the road. I think we have 1 doubleheader. So I don't know where we would fit it in if it was even possible. I don't know. That's not to say that it can happen, because anything's possible. But right now, when I look at our schedule of how many games we have in a short period of time, okay? Now, think about it. This is January 26th. We've played 8 league games. We have 12 to go, plus 1 non-conference game. just by the look of it, 13 games in 4 weeks. That's three games a week. I don't know where we would put it in. If we have a long layover, we could play them at a charter place.
Yeah, and we're focused on joining the SEC, not the ACC. Michelle, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, Coach, I wonder if I could just ask you a little bit historically about Arkansas. I think the only time you played them was way back in November, I believe, of '98 when they were coming off a Final Four appearance and Gary Blair was still there. They've had their ups and downs since then, but then Mike came in. I know he's a native of the state. Can you kind of give a perspective about what he's trying to do for a program, like I said, that has had some pretty high ups, but hasn't been able to sustain that for the last, 20 some odd years?
Oh, yeah, I remember that Arkansas game. It was in California, like it was yesterday. It was part of that, hyping up the Final Four, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think they called it the four in the fall.
Yeah, 4 in the fall. Yeah, 4 in the fall. Yeah, it was us, Duke, Arkansas, and I think it was Stanford. I think we played Duke and Arkansas. And it's unusual that then you would go this long without playing, a pretty good team in a pretty good situation. But, Mike's been around the block a little bit, and everywhere he's been, either as an assistant or a head coach, he's done, a great job and going from Washington, taking Washington to the Final Four, and then going from Washington to Arkansas and getting it there so quickly. He has a way, he works extremely hard at recruiting. He's really smart as a basketball coach. He has a style of play that really works. And he's at a place that, gives him what he needs in an area of the country where there's a lot of really good players growing up. So I'm not surprised, and I'm happy for him. He's one of the really good guys that works his butt off.
Thank you.
Jeff Jacobs?
Hey, Geno, if I could ask you a kind of a socio-philosophical question here. On a day when, first anniversary of Kobe's passing, and you think about the great impact that Black athletes have. And I was thinking about the NBA was talking about last week, and there's been some talk about this, about giving major leaguers, NBA players, vaccines ahead of, maybe some other people. And it's sort of, I even heard it mentioned here on one of the Zoom calls that it's kind of poo-pooed, like how could you ever cut in front of everything? But I guess my counterpoint would be, I think it's like 42% of Blacks say they would take the vaccine, and there's, because of what happened with Tuskegee and all that, there's a lot of mistrust about that. And it's crossed my mind that people like LeBron James and Steph Curry and stuff, they got the vaccine, bragged about it, and talked about the science, it could save thousands of lives potentially, which would counterpoint the rich guys paying all the taxes, cutting in front. And I was just wanted to feel you out on that kind of quandary.
Yeah, I had a conversation like that with my team. I had a conversation with my team about, everybody on the team gets a flu shot. And so do I. And so does everybody on our staff. So I said to him, I said, we're pretty much, we can't make you. So we can't make you. But I don't know that someone on our medical staff would take it right in front of you and then give it to you knowing that it wasn't good for you, that it wouldn't be beneficial for you. So if that alleviates any of your misgivings or, you know, that you have trust issues. But then again, I said, I can't make you give it to, I can't make you take it. You have to voluntarily take it. I don't know that giving, you know, NBA players, as you said, as a PSA, in essence, a dose constitutes you know, them jumping the line and getting one at the expense of someone else. Does it, you know, does it bring attention where it's sorely needed? Yeah, I believe that. I believe that. Kids look up to those guys. People look up to those guys. Well, at least people from blue states who are rational, they look up to those guys. So if they would decide that, hey, I can do this as a means of trying to get you to understand that it's safe, that I certainly wouldn't do it if I didn't think it was safe. I don't think that constitutes, you know, anyone, you know, saying they're getting preferential treatment. You know, I would be in favor of that. Absolutely. You know, absolutely. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great cause. I
Charlie,
think if I asked a bunch of my players, hey guys, if I got one right in front of you, would you all take it? They go, yeah, give him the bad one and then save the good one for me. That's why I might do mine in private.
Charlotte, you want to go ahead?
Sure. Hey, Geno, to follow up on the scheduling, how are you feeling going from like basically no games that month of December, one game every so often, to now having to tackle all of these within the next month, and just kind of how you think the team is going to handle that push to close out the season should they all get in, all the games get in?
I think, you know, we've said this, that if you gave players a choice, player or practice, they would rather play. This year more than any other year that I can remember. So to me, I don't care how many games we play. As I said, I don't care if we play back to back. I don't care if we're the old Globetrotters and we're barnstorming through the Midwest, you know, and we play DePaul Sunday and we drive up to Milwaukee and play Marquette Monday and, you know, then drive to Omaha and play Creighton Tuesday. You know, we can use the old Kansas City Monarchs bus, bring it out of retirement. Just want to play. Our kids just want to play. And we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Dan Connolly.
Geno, it seemed like you really enjoyed yourself at the hockey game last Saturday. So how's your relationship with Mike Cavanaugh grown since he's been here? And he mentioned that for you, it's important that you're part of the entire athletic department. So just in your own words, how important is it to not just be the women's basketball coach, but to be a part of the UConn athletics department?
Well, I mean, I didn't start playing hockey until I was in college, when my buddies who went to college up in Canada came home for, their semester break, and, brought skates and sticks back with them. And we didn't know what the hell. We thought we were going someplace and beat people up or something. And I fell in love with it. I did. You ain't live until you've had like 12 beers and then go to a hockey rink that you rented out at midnight and play hockey with a bunch of guys knocking you on your butt. It's like the greatest thing in the world. And we would play as often as we could, watch every game we could on television. And I became, a huge fan of hockey. And I remember going to the old ice rink when Benny Kirtland was the coach, and Bruce Marshall. And when Cav took over, and he'll tell you, I'm not making this up. And I said, you guys start playing at the XL Center and you're going to get 4,000, 5,000 people there every night, and you guys start winning. And because this is a hockey crazy state, you're gonna do exactly what we did, and people are gonna fall in love with your team. And if you watch them play, and they're playing the number one team in the nation, and they're going up and down with them, like if you change jerseys, you wouldn't know who was who. And I wish more people could get into the building to see this team play. They're skilled, they're fast, they're tough, resilient. I love our team. Now I don't get a chance to see a lot of games, but that's the life of a coach. But you're getting to see like NHL guys, like that goalie from Boston College. He'll be starting in the NHL next year. The guy's amazing. And we got a couple of NHL players on our team. So it's not like you're watching a bunch of, kids in the neighborhood with their mittens and floppy hats out there slapping a piece of wood around. This is legit.
Paul, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, Coach, just to follow up with KRISTIN. I know I've been told that you like to try to get kids at least one chance to play close to home. Can you speak to that as a coach, what it's like to be able to get those kids a chance to play in their home state and maybe in front of some of their family, especially in a year like this year where games are sometimes few and far between?
Yeah. Like I said before, not everybody goes out of their way to want to play everybody. And you'd be surprised how many schools, if you come into Arkansas and recruit a kid, or you go to, any state and you recruit the best player in the state and they come to UConn, and then you talk to a coach it's coaches at that state, you say, hey, look, I want to set something up, no. And I've even heard things like, not in KRISTIN's case, but let's just use KRISTIN. Well, if KRISTIN wanted to play in Arkansas, she should have stayed here. And I'm like, if you guys were any good when she was coming out of high school, she might have. Like, the hell are you talking about here? So it's not easy. It's not easy to put those kinds of games together. And I'm grateful that there are schools out there that, see it as an opportunity, use their heads about it. If you're Mike Neighbors and we come rolling in there and, you're used to averaging 1,500 people a game, and now you're going to get 4,000 and change. because we're coming there. That's not an accident, right? So that's not an accident. So that's a whole bunch of people coming to watch your team play that haven't been coming. And you might make a whole bunch more fans. So how's that a downside? And God forbid, now you kick our butts. Well, now, it's the end of the world, man. So tell me the downside of playing a team like us on your home court in that situation. I don't know one. So I'm grateful to Mike, for wanting to do these things. And I'm grateful to all the people at Arkansas Little Rock that wanted to do this, and we just weren't able to do it.
Does anyone have anything else for Coach? Go ahead, Alexa.
Yeah, just another question about the game on Thursday. Arkansas obviously likes to kind of play like a track meet, and they score really early in the shot clock. How much of a focus has it just been going into Thursday on getting the team to play, your UConn team to play at a reasonable pace and not kind of getting caught up in that might favor Arkansas?
Well, luckily we're not that fast, so we don't have to worry about trying to run as fast as them. That's not our game. But we're not a walk the ball up the floor and run our half court offense for 28 seconds either. That's not who we are. So we're somewhere in the middle. We're in a little bit of a quandary here. I can use things like that because Alexa went to Stanford. We're in a little bit of a situation where if we go too slow, that means we really have to execute our half court offense. And when you have this many young players, that ain't the winning edge. Sorry. And if we try to play too fast, we're playing right into their hands. And that's the way they want the game to go. So I've got to find a speed that works for us. And I don't know what that is yet. I don't know what that is yet. Depends how many players we have available. If Paige is playing, maybe, that changes things a little bit if she's playing. I don't know. These are the decisions that coaches have to make when they game plan for an opponent that's like Arkansas. And it's the same as when you play a team that wants to use up the entire 30-second shot clock. That's why I think if you only play one way, and this is how we play, and I don't care, I think it's going to be hard for you to win a national championship. So you've got to be able to zig and zag. You're like a boxer. If all I do is come out, put my fists up and start punching for 12 rounds, I don't know that I'm going to win a heavyweight title bout. I think you got to be able to be flexible. You got to be able to, juke and jive and, zig and zag, and you got to be able to do that. How well can we do that? I don't know. I don't know.
Would you still say that Paige has a better chance than not of playing tomorrow? Or has that changed?
Did I say that?
You said that on Saturday.
You have proof of that?
I have the receipts.
Oh.
I have 20 witnesses on this call.
Paige does have a better chance of playing on Thursday than of not playing. Correct.
Thank you.
Does she have a chance of playing better? That I don't know.
Megan, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, thanks, Anna. Hey, Coach. Real quick, I know skipping ahead of Thursday though, but looking at Sunday, your game against DePaul being the first women's basketball game on Big Fox, you get to do it against Coach Bruno. What are you looking forward to with that? And I know there's been a lot of firsts in your career that you've had, not recently probably, but this is another pretty big first for women's college hoops as well.
Is Bill Raftery doing the game?
Lisa Byington and Sarah Kustakar.
Oh, that's not fair. Sarah played at DePaul. That's not fair. That's not fair. You know, when I heard that the game was going to be on, you know, on Fox, you know, Doug obviously was really, really excited, exceptionally excited. You know, Doug worked so hard to grow the game, to try to get, you know, if you told him the game was going to be on Fox and we were going to have to play it at 12 midnight instead of 12 noon, he would be all over that. He would be on it. You know, I think anything that we can do that's going to bring a lot of attention to the game, a lot of attention to people who don't normally see the game. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that are Fox viewers that have never seen a women's game on Fox, that they're going to turn it on and they're going to, I think, be a little bit impressed by it, and they're going to want to know when the next one is. So, you know, you watch all the sports broadcasts that Fox does. It's amazing. I mean, it's amazing. The golf thing took a little bit of time to get used to, but they're incredibly good, man. I can't wait. I'm excited.
Anything else for Coach?
I wish Troy Aikman was doing the game. I want to talk to him about, there were a couple Eagles games there, man, where I don't know. I thought we got robbed. I wanted to run that by him, see what he thought.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys. Snowing here. Enjoy your day.